Okay, so I know that everybody who watches hockey has their mind on one thing in the NHL right now. The playoffs and the finals and the Habs and the Lightning. But this video is not really for that. Instead, this video is going over a prospect at the 2021 NHL Entry Draft, an investment of time that I'm willing to make because this is a passion project of sorts. Let's go over some more prospects here in the Why I Want series. Last time we spoke about Dylan Guenther. Thank you to those in the comment section who commented Spawn. If you want a chance to be featured in the next one, then hey, stick around to the end of this video. But in today's Why I Want, we're going back over to the territory of guys who were considered for first overall contention in the previous few years, but who have kind of fallen out of that spot. Today we're going over the guy whom many labeled as the upcoming first overall pick for the 2021 NHL Entry Draft. Today we're talking about Aatu Räty. And yeah, it's Raty because the Y in Finnish is actually pronounced like a U, so try not to pronounce it like Aatu Räty. Raty's a guy whom we've actually spoken about a ton on this channel before. I think the first appearance he ever made was in the tier list video that we made back in 2019 or whatever it was, talking about franchise, generational, and elite players and grouping them into those kinds of tiers. Before anybody asks, yeah, I absolutely do have plans to remake that video, but that will come at a later time. But Aatu Räty back then in 2019 was coming off of a year where in the Junior ASM Liga, he was an absolute goal-scoring monster, scoring 10 goals in 6 games played at the U18 level as a 16-year-old, by the way. He was at 3 points a game in that territory. He was at 17 goals in 41 games played in the regular Junior ASM Liga, and he was a point per game in the playoffs. Nice. You also had a U17 performance that saw him put up some numbers as well, and for different versions of the U18 team, he was around a point per game player back then too, which is why in the summer of 2019, people were taking a look. Okay, 2020 is going to have Lafreniere, maybe this Byfield guy, maybe this Tim Stützle, but for 2021, it's probably going to be Aatu Räty's first overall spot to lose, right? So we had the mock drafts back then saying that he'll probably go first. But then 2019-20 happened, where he got a start with the full-time Karpat Liga team, against men and as an underage player. He got 4 points in 12 games played, which honestly isn't bad. Like, when you look at it, he is a 17-year-old guy suiting up against professional men, and he is out there getting a point every 3 games, 2 goals, 2 assists. That's not bad, actually. He got sent back over to the Karpat U20 team, and he put up 21 points in 30 games played. Now, you might be quick to point out, okay, the previous year, as a 16-17-year-old in the same Junior 20 league, he had 31 points in 41 games played. That's a .75 points per game. How come in the year after that, he decreased in production? And it's around this time where things started to crack a little bit under pressure for Aatu Räty and his draft stock. He also suited up for the World Junior team for Team Finland, posting up 3 points in 7 games played. This was the one that was held in Vancouver. But after his 2019-20 season, we started to have a little bit of doubt as to whether or not Aatu Räty would actually go first overall. Not particularly because he started to drop off in production, but also because of the fact that we had guys like Owen showing himself off at the USHL with the Chicago Steel. He was really good. We had Brandt Clarke, who made his debut in the OHL, looking awesome too. William Eklund was out here in Sweden doing his thing, and we had Carson Lambos and Daniel Chayka and all these other players that were looking to be pretty highly touted guys at this draft as well. So all of a sudden, the draft conversation for first overall wasn't the same as Lafreniere, Jack Hughes, Connor McDavid, Austin Matthews. Aatu Räty, the guy that we had as the first overall projected pick, was all of a sudden not as far ahead in the race as we thought he would be. And now we have 2020-2021, where Aatu Räty played 35 games in the Finnish Liga. He had 6 points, 35 games played, and now you take a look at where he is ranked. Some scouting outlets have him as low as 20, like TSN and Bob McKenzie and Elite Prospects themselves. You also have Bob McKenzie, who said that some scouts have Räty in the 2nd round. And so you take a look at it, what exactly happened to this guy, and is there still value to project in his overall draft stock? And this video is here to tell you that there absolutely still should be. Aatu Räty, just taking a look at the profile here, he is a 6'1", 181-pound center, left-handed, November 2002 birthday. He's one of the oldest players in this entire draft, but it has played a big part in what exactly has helped him showcase himself off in the earlier stages of his career. In 2018-19, where he was an absolute goal-scoring maniac, over a goal a game as a 16, 17-year-old in the U17 league, and scoring the lights out at international tournaments, Aatu Räty was making himself out to being a really strong skater, really heavy, powerful shot, and a guy who could just go out there with some really underrated two-way instinct and a dominance to his game. I said this in the video we made a few months ago talking about Aatu Räty, but when this guy would pick up the puck and start skating forward with it, he almost kind of looks like Connor McDavid. At least, to me, that's what the shadow of his skating looked like. When he would pick up the puck and start going, he'd do the crossovers and he'd start pitter-pattering the puck back and forth as he slices through defenders, comes in and absolutely loads up for a beautiful wrist shot. He had this kind of dominating, just I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna do what I need to do to score a goal kind of mentality. Not to mention the fact that his offensive awareness, his abilities off the puck were pretty strong. He could take away passing lanes from his opponents. He had the offensive awareness to be in the right place in the right time when he didn't have the puck. And he was an overall really good rush offense kind of guy. However, it's almost like when he made his debut in the Liga in 2019-20, things got a little bit tougher because he wasn't able to just go out there and dominate the same way he had been against kids his age. He couldn't just pick up the puck and start pitter-patter galloping like Connor McDavid down the middle into the zone, take a shot and score. No, you're going to get cut off doing that. You're going to be rubbed off the puck in a different way than you would have been if you were in the U18 league. And so it's at this point that we started to really see the conservative nature of Aatu Räty's game. It's almost like the short stint in the Liga in 2019-20 pretty much put him in a position where he didn't want to start doing a lot of that stuff anymore. And as a result, he got sent down to the Junior 20 League again, had 21 points in 30 games. Okay, as we noted, it's a lower production than he had the previous season, but he had 2 goals in 30 games. His goal-scoring touch completely withered away, but it's not like some fairy tale, Rumpelstiltskin kind of magic where those abilities just disappeared. It's just that he wouldn't do it. And that translated into 2020-2021 where, firstly, he was left off the World Junior team. He was on the World Junior team last year. This year, he wasn't. He had 6 points in 35 games played, but after he was left off the World Junior team, he was sent back down to the U20s. He was under a point per game, 7 points in 8 games played. And it's almost like this guy's switch went off. Because when it comes to his U20 play this season, the numbers might not look all too great. Okay, 7 points in 8 games. But Aatu Räty really showcased himself off a lot better than he had been in the past. It's almost like that switch where he was like, okay, I'm just going to start skating with it and I'm just going to start scoring points because I want to do that. It's like it clicked back on and he started doing extraordinarily well, facilitating play properly, making good breakout passes, and opening himself up in the offensive zone for scoring chances. That play carried over into the SM Liga when he returned, and even though it's not reflected in the numbers all too much, it's really easy to take a look at some of the footage of Aatu Räty from the beginning of the year and the end of the year and be like, man, there's a really big difference in the quality of play this guy has. All of a sudden, he's starting to pounce on pucks a little bit more. He's starting to buzz more around the net. He's still got the good hands and the good spatial awareness, but he's not playing as conservatively as he had before. It's like that confidence has started to build itself back up as he returned to the top pro men's league. This is the same kind of Aatu Räty that earned him a 3rd overall rating by the neutral zone. Take a look at that. His consolidated ranking is 11th, but future consideration 19, McKeen's 12, 14th by Sportsnet, 20th TSN and Bob McKenzie, 7th by the Puck Authority, and 3rd by the neutral zone. His ranking is all over the place. And the argument that some people will propose, I've seen this comparison made a ton, is quite similar to Jesse Puljujärvi. Not only in terms of the way they play, really strong, two-way capable, offensively productive guys with killer shots, but Puljujärvi was in a spot where in his first season in the NHL, he just wasn't ready. And the transition into the league was a lot more difficult for him, which is why when he got sent back over to Finland, he worked on his game, and he came back, all of a sudden, boom. It took him a while to get here, it took him a while to build that confidence back up, but he's here. And for Aatu Räty, a guy who many people are ranking in the 20s, the 15-ish kind of range, you have yourselves an argument that says maybe the same kind of thing happened with him, where he wasn't as ready for the Liga as we thought he would be, and the transition to work himself up into that level just took a little bit longer than we would have hoped. It doesn't deter from the overall package he has as a prospect long term, but in the short term, when you're trying to project who's doing well, who's doing poorly, at 17, 18 years of age, it's easy to see why he's falling down draft boards. But if Aatu Räty can still be a first-round caliber guy that your team picks up because you want a really capable, maybe top 6, two-way center who can score points, I think Aatu Räty can be your guy. He's got all the tools. You just need to work out the mental side of it, confidence-wise, to really allow him to use it. If you made it to the end of this video, then comment in the comment section below Rumpelstiltskin, because yeah, we had to do that one. It's a very cool one right there, referring to the mock Avengers movie from all those years ago. But talk to me in the comments what you think about Aatu Räty and his overall abilities, his draft stock. If your team were to draft Aatu Räty, would you be okay with it? Talk to me in the comments about all that stuff. Also, Rumpelstiltskin to be featured in the next video. But I hope you enjoyed this Rosen, and bye.